Hey everybody, welcome back to I am, and as always, this is your girl, Nikki Beware. As promised, this is part 2 of episode 7. If you're just now tuning in, I suggest you go back and watch part 1 before continuing. Alright, so here's a quick recap. Lakira Goldsmith is a young woman who went missing in Montgomery, Alabama back in 2018 at the age of 20. She went on a date with her boyfriend and disappeared hours later after being dropped off by him. It was initially thought that this was the last time she was seen, but turns out that may not be the case. Marshall, Lakira's mother, informed me that not only was Lakira witnessed by her grandmother getting out of her boyfriend's car, her grandmother also saw her later on that morning. We're not exactly sure what time, but the grandmother is positive that it was her. When trying to track Lakira's last movements, word quickly got around to Marshall that Lakira was seen with the maintenance man of her apartment complex, and this is where things get interesting.
My daughter went missing November the 29th, 2018, from here in Montgomery.
A missing daughter and a mother on a mission to find her. What happened? Where is she? And why did she just disappear?
So I read something that said the day that she went missing, early that morning, she was seen by her grandmother getting dropped off by her boyfriend. So what exactly did she see that morning?
Just that Lakira was getting out of the vehicle, but she didn't. My grandma lived upstairs in the apartment.
Okay.
So out of her patio door, she could see the parking lot.
Okay. So she just saw the car pull up.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And she saw her get out of the car.
Yes.
Okay.
But my mom also seen her maybe later that day, or it was later that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't read anything about that. They everything that I read made it seem that during that moment, that was the last time she was seen.
No, that's what I initially thought.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last sighting of her, but my mom had actually seen her.
Okay. So I also read that, and it makes a little bit more sense now since you said that she didn't have a phone. I read that she asked the maintenance man to use his phone, and when she used it, I guess he walked off, and when he came back, the phone was laying on the steps and she was gone.
Yes, that's what he told me.
So is this the same guy, Eric Jackson? Eric Marcel Jackson, also known as EJ or Mook, worked as a maintenance man at Red Lions Apartments in Montgomery, Alabama. Not a lot is public about him before his life of crime began, but he grew up in Cecil, Alabama, which is about 10 minutes away from the junior high school that we attended together. It's been years since I've seen or spoken to him, and the last time we did speak was when I was in high school. I wish I could tell you more about his background, but I didn't know much about him outside of school. Like I said though, he was a maintenance man at the same apartment complex where Lakira lived, and according to a Facebook post that's circulating on a page dedicated to her, he was up to no good. Here are a few things that was being said. I won't highlight everything, but I will link the page so that you can see for yourself.
That's one of them. It was two of them. She used the other one's phone, but both of those guys was present because I spoke with both of those guys.
Oh.
And they had the same story.
Okay, so were they together when she came home and she used the phone?
Yes, because both of those guys was maintenance guys in the apartment complex, and they lived out there.
Oh, okay, and they both lived out there. Okay, because I didn't know if they had. I would think they would have different shifts, so I wasn't necessarily sure, if they would be together or why they would be together, especially at that time of night?
Yes, because they lived out there. Yes.
Okay, so do you think they had some involvement in what happened to her?
Maybe, since all this stuff that went on with Eric Jackson. Maybe, but the thing is, I don't know if did she use their phone the day before her boyfriend dropped her off or the day after.
Oh, okay.
So those the two timelines that I have mixed up with trying to gather everything, all the information, and trying to remember stuff, and somehow I got those mixed up.
Okay. Have the police themselves questioned the two maintenance men?
They have questioned one of, but I don't know about the other one. But I know for a fact that they questioned one of them because he called me while he was in the car with the detective.
Okay. And
yeah.
Was that the Eric guy, or was this the other guy?
No, it was the Bruce Nelson guy.
I have no idea who this Bruce Nelson guy is, and this is the first time that his name has been brought up. But considering how open he was with Marshall, I tend to believe that he may be telling the truth and that he's not involved. However, I won't stake my life on it because you never know. Okay. Because I did read an article stating that Eric, I guess, got into some type of altercation with his ex-girlfriend, and he tried to strangle her to death.
Yes.
Something like that. And I can't recall the article off the top of my head, but I do know that he's in jail. And they said that he admitted to some other stuff, or some other things came out about him. And I'm like,
yes, it was actually two females.
Okay.
Yes.
My goodness. And
two different occasions.
To fill you in on what we're talking about, back in 2019, Eric Jackson was charged with and later found guilty of domestic violence with strangulation of his ex-girlfriend. He was also found guilty of rape in the first degree of another woman he was reportedly old friends with. Not only did he threaten to kill both women, but while strangling his ex-girlfriend, he stated, "I don't care if you die." I can only imagine the terror she must have felt in that moment, and luckily, she was able to get away. I have no doubt that his actions left lasting damage to both women, and thankfully, justice was fairly swift in this instance because in 2021, he was sentenced to two 20-year sentences to be served consecutively. So essentially, he will be serving 40 years. I'll make sure to link the articles relating to his conviction as well. Did the police consider him a suspect at all, or they just questioned him and that was, you say you don't know if they questioned him or not?
No, I don't know. They told me they was.
See, that's weird to me, especially since we know he's capable of violence and he could potentially be one of the last people to see Lakira. Why they wouldn't question him or have him as a person of interest.
Exactly.
So, when did you report her missing?
It was like a week when no one had seen her, none of her friends or anyone.
Yeah. So after a week. And what was the police response?
They came and did a missing person report. And basically that was it at the time. But I kept contacting them, asking them, how can I get her on them to put her on the news and stuff.
Yeah.
And they said that I had to do it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but come to find out I didn't have to do it. I had to just email, basically I probably did have to do it. Email a copy of the missing person report to Crime Stopper, and that's how she got on the news like a month later.
There's a very interesting article written by Jessica Larsh. In it, she discusses how Black people are underrepresented in the media when it comes to being missing, which we already know, and how white women are overrepresented, getting more than half the coverage that Black people receive as a whole, even though they go missing at a much lower rate. She later broke it down even further by pointing out how white people make up 77% of news outlets and how 70% of the police departments across the nation are also white. So it comes as no surprise that there wasn't much movement when it came to finding out what happened to Lakira. To be Black and missing in this country, just wow. Okay. So, what investigation or investigating has the police done since then, or then and since then?
To my knowledge, they questioned a couple people, but I don't know what else they did because they don't tell me much.
Yeah.
They don't keep in contact with me. And the thing that I really wanted them to do was do some searches, but they haven't done not one search.
Wow, not one.
To rule out the possibility, they haven't done a search.
And I'm not understanding that because I know that when another young lady went missing, Anaya, like almost a year later, it seems like they pulled out all the stops for her. And I'm not understanding why Lakira didn't get that same treatment.
All the stops.
Anaya Blanchard was a 19-year-old college student who was last seen on October 23, 2019 at a Chevron gas station in Auburn, Alabama. In comparison to Lakira, who went missing a year prior, the media attention was astronomical. Could it be because her stepdad is a UFC heavyweight fighter, or that she was of mixed race and colorism played a role? Could it be that she was considered to be of a higher pedigree, or could it be a combination of it all? Whatever the case, Anaya received the coverage that every single victim deserves, regardless of their background. On November 6, 2019, 2 weeks after Anaya went missing, the police already had someone they considered a person of interest, and the very next day, an arrest warrant was issued for a man by the name of Ibrahim Yazid. 2.5 weeks later, Anaya's remains were found in a wooded area in Macon County, Alabama. There's a whole lot more to this story that I won't get into, but please look it up for yourself. And while I applaud the efforts that were made to find Anaya, I just wish the same could have been done for Lakira. Yeah, and it was a lot of, even just looking up Lakira's case, I kept seeing things about Anaya and the amount of coverage. I mean, CNN, Fox News, and all these different outlets, like even an MMA news outlet picked up the story, and I'm just seeing all these articles, and I'm just like, what makes, not saying that they shouldn't have done all that, because they should have, and I'm glad they did. But why couldn't Lakira get that as well? Because had she had that type of coverage and attention, I truly believe we would know something now.
I know we would have known something by now. If she would have got all the attention and help she needed, we would have found out something by now. It wouldn't be 4 years later.
Yeah. I believe
they wasn't right on it. They were giving me the runaround for the longest.
Yeah. So, I know that you did the report, but did they actually classify her as a missing person? Or did they, like, what did they consider her, like, a runaway? I mean, I know she's an adult, but sometimes they feel like, people just walk away on their own free will.
Yeah, that's what they felt like, but in the report it said missing person. But whenever I talked to them, that's what they were giving out to me, like adults leave and sometimes they don't want to be found, and I'm telling them that she have a son. My baby would never just leave her son like that. That's how they feel about adults.
Yeah.
Certain adults.
Certain adults. I read that a lot, especially when it comes to black people, black women. They feel like, for example, I did a story on a case on my last episode. A lady named Donna Calloway, I'm sorry, and she went missing, and she had 8 children. And the police told her sister the exact same thing, that maybe she ran away or she went away because she didn't want the pressure of raising 8 children. And I'm like,
wow, that's the girl that's missing from here, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so disrespectful. Like, put yourself in their shoes, in these people's shoes. Like, would you feel that way then?
Exactly. It's your child.
Right. So what has the community response been?
Negative.
Really?
I get a little help, but not much help.
Yeah.
I did independent searches. On my own. It's a couple people showed up, but not one time was law enforcement there.
Yeah.
So security search make the people feel safe or like they even care or anything about it.
Yeah. Oh, this is it's so sad. Hopefully, when I release this episode and get your interview out there, it will get more attention and people will start, raising awareness and getting loud, if you will, and getting it out there. I really pray that, because I do feel like she can be found. I truly do.
Exactly. So, no one cares about missing black, low-class women.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, I'm not lying. I'm getting choked up now because I have a little, my baby, she's 15, she's black, and I honestly don't know what I would do in that situation or how I would react, especially if I feel like I'm not being heard. I can't imagine how you feel.
Yeah, you just have to pray about it, because sometimes you do want to, take matters into your own hand. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's my fear too, because I can have, especially when it comes to my children, I'm a mama bear, and I know how I am. I know how I can get, and I don't want to be in jail trying to find out what happened to one of my children. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Ain't much you could do behind bars.
Right. And so I'm just like, I have to, take a step back and calm down and think rationally about things. But I honestly don't know what I would do if I were in your shoes.
Yeah, I'm gonna find my daughter without the police help.
Yeah, I know that I believe that you can do it. I really do.
Yeah, I became an investigator since she went missing.
Yeah, you have to. We have to advocate for ourselves, because the police, they're just not gonna do it.
They sure ain't.
So, I remember hearing some stuff that, some people feel that Anaya and Lakira's case could be connected. Do you think there's some truth to that?
No, I don't feel like it is. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that I read or seen that the guy was locked up during the time my daughter went missing.
Okay. So I haven't fully read the case on him. It was just so much stuff going around. And I was getting a lot of this information from my sister, who's still living in Montgomery. And I was in South Dakota at the time. So, of course, I didn't know. I don't have firsthand details on any of this stuff. And I just know it was a lot of rumors going around. I guess because,
Yeah.
It just happens so close together and people wanted answers, and they figured, like, if he did this to this girl, maybe, the same thing happened with Lakira.
Yes. I used to worry about the rumors, but now I don't, long as they keep shining the light on my daughter.
Yeah.
Keeping her name and picture in their faces.
Amen. I hear that. So, I'm almost done, like, with the questions and everything. I think you pretty much answered everything that I think we covered, just about everything. So, is there anything else you would like to say about Lakira, or what you want people to know about her?
Yes, I want people to know that we really miss Lakira and we want her back home. And if anyone is holding my baby hostage, please let her go. She have a family that loves her. Excuse me. Yeah. Please, if anybody know any information about what happened to my daughter, please come forward with it. It's been 4 years. Don't keep this information to yourself any longer.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I pray that you and your family, y'all find answers soon. I really feel like just one person will come forward, we would know something.
Yes, one person. That's all it takes.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. If you have any more questions, just give me a call.
I sure will. Thank you. And y'all be blessed.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. It was truly an honor to have Marshall speak with me, and I want to thank her sincerely for doing so, because with everything she must be going through, I wouldn't have blamed her had she declined. Do me a favor, if you will. Please reach out to her on Facebook and show her some love, and give her and her family some encouraging words. They need it, and I'm sure it will be greatly appreciated. I'll link her page in the show's description. You never know what evil lurks behind you, so be vigilant and don't be afraid to cause a scene. Anything to ensure that you make it home safely. As always, this is #IAM. Be blessed and stay safe.